The Marxists, the anarchists, the agitators, the looters, and people who, in many instances, have absolutely no clue what they are doing.
Wake the fuck up!
It's Inane Blather.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Okay, welcome back to Inane Blather. It's episode 86.
86?
Yes, it's a show for
psychotic, deranged, cultist liars.
and all those mentioned by the Donald himself at the beginning, which I think I'm going to somehow make into a new intro. We're going to shake things up pretty soon here, probably
Also,
around
all of
episode
our
100.
Head bunked individuals. We love you too. Mm-hmm.
Yep, if my soundboard was smaller, that would have been perfect. But
And scene.
but really, it all comes back to hanging out with
Headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
And scene.
There we go. Great episode. Thanks
All right,
for talking.
thanks. That was I think some of our best work, honestly. You know,
Love you, bye.
like very succinct. Yeah, love you. Shout out to R.M. Brown.
Oh yeah, no, I already stopped recording. No,
Thank goodness.
no, yeah, we're having fun.
You're pooping the bed?
This is lit.
I need to get back to using the soundboard more during our conversations. I've been thinking about that too. We get on track, and then I just start yelling and just talking over you for 40 minutes or something like that. We need more of a back and forth. It makes for good episodes. There are times, however, and this is one of them, when even being right feels wrong. What do you say, for instance, about a generation that has been taught that rain is poison and sex is death? If making love might be fatal, and if a cool spring breeze on any summer afternoon can turn a crystal blue lake into a puddle of black poison right in front of your eyes, there is not much left except TV and relentless masturbation. It's a strange world. Some people get rich, and others eat shit and die. A fat man will feel his heart burst and call it beautiful. Who knows? If there is, in fact, a heaven and a hell, all we know for sure is that hell will be a viciously overcrowded version of Phoenix. A clean, well-lighted place full of sunshine and bromides and fast cars where almost everybody seems vaguely happy, except for the ones who know in their hearts what is missing. And being driven slowly and quietly into the kind of terminal craziness that comes with finally understanding that the one thing you want is not there, missing, backordered, no tengo. Vaya con Dios. Grow up. Small is better. Take what you can get. That's Hunter S. Thompson. I just really liked it, so I copied it into the notes here. I love him so much. But
That's a good one.
But yeah, how have you been? You haven't been living in Phoenix this past week, have you? You've
No,
been
I've
living
been
in Tucson.
living in
That's
sin.
the analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
we call that the Flagstaff life. And
Yeah.
you just take out the L and the staff.
yeah. What have I been doing this week?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I know. I'm thinking about this weekend. Been such a hedonist with my partners. Having a good time. Had dinner with a friend over the weekend in Seattle. Just like a really good, full, like relationships sort of weekend. And even starting like on Thursday with Humby, we went to this presentation. Kind of like
a presentation.
I mean, well, like some friends. It's like a book club, people from this book club, but it's like a kink polyqueer community. That's like they do. The presentations were really cool. Like one of them was like about art and sex, and she used to work like in the art world, and she gave a presentation about just different like paintings or sculptures or whatever that were like controversial, or the ways that they Like,
Cool.
you know, like what? Oh yeah, it was really interesting.
This was
and
just
then
done where?
in someone's
Like, at
house.
someone's house, yeah.
Like they had like
That's
a
cool.
projector and just really some smart people. The first guy whose house it was, like talking about the genes of attraction and like some pheromones, and like he's like I'm a scientist, and he's like I don't know what his science, but he is like I mean, even though he's like talking about genes and stuff, it's like everyone's like, okay, no, we definitely know what you're talking about. We definitely know all about our chromosomes and stuff. We remember that.
Well,
And,
there's
like,
something to be said for being able to get that to people and make them interested.
sure.
That's awesome.
It was it was really fun, and I just pretty proud of myself. I made a homemade cake for my partners for Valentine's Day. It was a strawberry cake with like a vegan strawberry with vegan frosting, and like
Yet no birthday cake for my daughter's birthday yesterday. Very very nicely done.
no,
That would have been nice.
it was only for my
No,
sex
yeah, that's
partners.
right. It was Valentine's Day this past week. That's right. I
We all
forgot.
celebrated it. Yeah, we were together here. 3 of us, and it was really pretty. It turned out very pretty, like the frosting, because it had real strawberries in it. It was like all pink, and
Cool.
decorated it. It was very cute, and yeah, we had a great time.
Was it heart shaped?
No.
No.
No, it was a round
I
cake.
don't know. I was like,
yeah,
that'd be
no.
cool.
But it had like
round
little
it.
strawberries.
The only
on
way
top.
to make a heart-shaped cake, I think, is to waste a bunch of cake. You gotta.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the rest of it you'd make into cake pops or something like that.
I
but
think-
like, Jesus, who
yeah.
has the time?
I was so intimidated. I haven't made a cake like, you know,
From
like I had
scratch?
to measure out the flour
Wow.
and all that stuff, and it's
Very
eggless.
nice.
It's like a little bit different, and it had like
Oh, it was
real
vegan.
strawberries, like that I
Yeah.
pureed strawberries down, like
Cool.
and added some stuff into it, and yeah, it turned out I would do it a little bit differently next time. Maybe use a different oil instead of vegetable oil. Use like coconut oil, whatever. I don't know. This is probably so incredibly boring to people listening, but no, it turned out
Everything
the
we
frosting,
say is boring. Who cares?
The frosting
That
was
sounds
really
good.
good. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just like
You're
vegan
like, I
butter,
added
powdered
pureed
sugar, and strawberries. Yeah,
I added some other things, and those other things, you know,
Drugs
Yeah.
are fun.
they're like, why does this taste like the date rape drug?
yeah. It doesn't
Yeah, seasoned
because that
with
is
refined sugar and GHB.
and
No.
actually that doesn't taste like anything because
Yeah, that's. You know.
I've GHB. I've had that
God
before
dang
on
it! This thing is
purpose.
too
Yeah.
big. You say, well, it doesn't taste like
That's what she
anything. I'm
said.
like,
That's the joke.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I just didn't know if you knew that, but
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's the only way you get away with it. So, no.
that's true. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I've been roofied before, so
mine was intentional.
I've been
yeah.
roofied before, and and I ended up wandering off and spending a weekend in Clark County Detention Center after carrying a police officer on my back through a parking lot and fighting a bunch of people.
And not
So-
like a piggyback, like fun piggyback ride or anything.
I mean,
Like-
kind of. He was really small, so
He was like,
that's why he was the worst one for sure. Oh man, they fucked my face up on the asphalt so bad. But anyway, they just came in there like, shut up, and I was like, no. They're like, fine, we're gonna fuck you up and put a bag over your head unless you shut up. I was like, no, and they're like,
Sounds like you're pretty into this, buddy.
no, but we were talking right before we started recording. I said, if everything keeps going wrong when you're trying to make a simple summer side dish, what do you call it? Murphy slaw.
And actually,
Owned. Consider yourself owned because you are.
Oh, wait, I meant this.
yeah. Murphy's Law is actually anything that can happen will happen.
Not
It's
anything that can
just-
go wrong.
Yeah, but that's also
okay.
true because it is something
Sorry
that can
for
happen.
trying to figure out a setup to Murphy slaw.
Yeah,
Because at
well,
first I had just written the words Murphy slaw in the
you're
notes
like,
app. So
there's something there.
there's something
sure.
here. I think I also just tweeted Murphy slaw, but I don't think anyone saw it or liked it. But
Or
Yeah.
people saw it, they didn't like it.
no one liked my tweet. I was like,
That was, and I don't say this lightly, Worse than 100 September 11th.
That's what it feels like when no one likes my tweets. So,
Yeah.
hey, I'm followed by Ben Glebe, the comedian and
Beebe.
host of Idiot Test, and the guy that was debating Charlie Kirk when he famously said, "That is
With
my
the
own
dolphin
sperm."
fetuses?
Yes,
The
the dolphin
dolphin
fetus guy. He follows me on Twitter. And he has like
Nice.
210,000 followers or something like that. I was like, that's the only flex
Does he
that
like
I have
your-
with Twitter
he didn't
followers.
like your Murphy's Law?
I forgot that he followed me, but because it was a few years ago. And it's like Idiot Test had just started. He was kind of up and coming. I was like, oh my God. I talked to him a few times back then. That was a few years ago. But I was like, oh, now he's got way more followers now, and he just never unfollowed me. So there we go.
Nice.
But anyway,
Keep
we
him
were
up to
talking
date.
about...
Jon
for whatever
Stewart.
reason, people's seething hatred of anything liberal, even if they're right. We were talking about Jon Stewart and how great it was, but it also, as I'm saying this, reminds me of what was going around today, too, on the Twitter discourse about Stephen Colbert. Because,
What
of
about
course,
him?
he's much more hated by online leftists than Jon Stewart. And I think that's mostly just because he ended up sliding into cringe territory more than wrong
Just because he's on late night? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
'Cause he's on
appealing to
literally like a CBS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's way more appealing to boomer libs than younger libs or whatever it might be. There's just markets for all of that. I mean, you got to admit, singing songs about Dr. Fauci or something fucking sucks, whatever. but I liked his show a lot when it was before it went back to
The
having the
Colbert
audience and
Report?
stuff. It's
Oh.
like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
love the Colbert Report, of course. But I like the guy, but I can see why
love
people are
Stephen
like,
Colbert.
no, this fuck that liberal stuff. It's like, but so I just watch Seth Meyers because I love his Trump stuff, and I just think he's really funny. But yeah, Jon Stewart comes back and does a fucking banger episode. It was awesome. Like, come on. Gosh, I wish that I just had the setup right here to play some of it through the tablet. But, going through the comparisons of like these two fucking octogenarians that are running for president, the oldest pair of people, the oldest major candidates running for the presidency by 4 years, he said, since the last time they ran against each other. Like,
exactly.
it's not good, but the way that he laid into not just Biden, like, bless you, but I mean, it's not like he's going after Biden. Some people get so defensive about it, but more, I feel like, I mean, it's more at his campaign, at the people around him, because the biggest, most important thing that he said, I thought, when talking about the
Could you show
problems,
us that?
yes, with him being old, is, did anyone film that? Yeah. Like, if he's so sharp, if he's really on the ball, show us. Propagandize, please. I don't like Biden. I don't like what he's doing, funding a genocide. I don't care how back and forth, like, I hate the fact that it's like, well, behind closed doors, he's actually really upset with Netanyahu. Okay, I don't fucking care. You just gave him $16 billion or something.
And
but
what does
still,
that mean,
I don't
behind
want Trump
closed
to win.
doors?
Stop saying I want Trump to win just because I'm a leftist who lives in a liberal state that doesn't give a shit about voting for Biden. Like, but I mean, that's
so
what,
when are we gonna be able to get better, though? It's like,
Yeah.
so are we the better side, or like, quote unquote, or not? Like, do we just have to have these low standards until what?
yeah,
Like, all of the baby boomers die or something? Like, that's literally, we're just like gonna wait it out for, I thought that at least everyone kind of thought Joe Biden was gonna be like a one-time sort of deal just to get us out of a Trump thing, even though Bernie could have beaten Trump. But,
yeah.
yeah.
Remember when they talked about how Bernie was too old? These same fucking people that will defend Biden to the death. These people, I mean, online, it's like, what's the difference between you and a MAGA person in terms of how you carry water for this guy and for the Democratic Party? Like, it's defend Biden or die, like kind of thing for a lot of people, where it's like you're not facing facts here, you're not facing reality. You're anytime it's like, well, if Biden's doing so great, if Biden's presidency is so effective, like you're telling me, and he's doing so well, and he's the best president in your lifetime, which I've seen, and it's like, then why is his approval rating 38%? And all the time, well, polls are, that's just a poll. Those are just approval ratings. Fuck out of here, dude. Like, it's so naive. It's so putting your head in the sand. And
so like
on top
Trump's
of that,
approval ratings, did those matter at all?
yeah,
Or,
exactly. It's like, I'm sure you were laughing about that when Trump was at 38%. But speaking of the libs, like Stephen Colbert, the one that was going around today, it was funny because some big blue check liberal on Twitter shared it and said, Stephen Colbert is 100% correct. And it was. Let's see if I can. I wonder.
What I just want to say
you talk real quick.
is that I like all these Biden lovers. It's like, okay, so close your eyes and think of the leader you want. Like, what kind of leader do you want for president? Does an 81-year-old man who's like stumbles over his words, he's like thinking like that, is that what you have in mind? Like, that is the man you want to lead the country? When you close your eyes, you picture Joe Biden as the ultimate, like, exactly the best you could possibly imagine for anybody. All of his ideas, you know, not that anyone perfect or whatever, but it's like, there's nothing to criticize about him. He is ideal. He is perfect. He's a god king among men or something. Like, there's no way. That was like Jon Stewart's whole thing was just like, I think that he does deserve scrutiny, and kind of, especially for these motherfucking leftists or whatever you want to say, anyone that's not like right wing,
progressives.
Is like, if you think that you're like the party that's like more knowledgeable and blah 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 blah, shouldn't we have higher standards for ourselves? Shouldn't we be able to hold people and like criticize and understand and not get dogmatic about it? Isn't that kind of what the quote unquote do? And like, not us, like you're saying about MAGA.
Yes. They're blue
seems
MAGA. It's crazy, like how that media is wrong, or these pollings, or actually he's accomplished so much and he's the most effective Democratic president we've had since FDR or whatever.
If people thought that,
say.
you wouldn't have to have your staffers coming out saying, no, he's sharp as a tack. Oh man, he's so smart. He's so smart. You sound so fucking
that
defensive.
Should be the
it makes
least
me cringe.
Of your, exactly.
It sounds like no one who is sharp, no one had to be out there, Obama, being like, no, I swear, he's sharp. He's really got a head on his shoulders or whatever. Maybe you would, because if people were saying he's too black to be smart or something. But, But those criticisms from the right or something like that, you don't even have to acknowledge. Exactly, which they wouldn't.
You don't have to say, like, the only person dumb enough to say, like, no, he's not Muslim, he's actually a good man, is John McCain. So
exactly.
Like,
not
just be Islamophobic
leftist,
about it. But, and like, what was I going to say? Nope, I lost it. But,
nice.
Them saying, we had the opportunity. This is who people voted for. It's like, you're bringing up the primaries for this? This is who people voted for? Saying, well, it's not like the DNC is some secret cabal. It's like, it's not what we're saying. Like, if you truly believe in this rebuttal that you're giving, you are politically illiterate. Like, that's not how it works. No one big ran for it or have called for it, because then they aren't going to get support, because the DNC is behind, of course, the current Democratic president. But we're also all it's like, I saw one. Oh my God. I saw one that went around that they said all of these attacks on Joe Biden have to do with Kamala's skin color. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
My fucking God.
And actually, my reply, there was a lot of replies, so whatever, but I said, is this a joke? Because if it is, it's pretty funny. But
Yeah.
like, and someone's like, why? Why would it be a joke? I was like, because this is like a parody of a completely out of touch liberal Biden supporter. Like, that's crazy, you know? And the person, they must have gone on a spree because they blocked me for asking if it was a joke. And I was like, and that shit got viewed like 500,000 times, so I don't know. But it's like, I would take Kamala. She's done so little that I forgot the proper way to pronounce her name. It's Kamala.
like comma, like a comma.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a comma, like the thing that she makes in the air with her hands when she's talking.
When she pauses,
she's so
fucking cringe.
She's so
fucking cringe.
fake and phony.
Talking about
of course I
Joe
would still
Biden being
take
smart.
Kamala Harris over Joe Biden because she's not senile. She sucks, whatever, but she's not senile. And she's better than Trump, of course.
It just feels like, what are the Democrats, what do we have to be proud of? Like, what are people, like, getting behind these candidates? Like, yeah, that's better than, but it's like, is there going to be someone that's like, I mean, Obama obviously did things in whatever foreign policy and Guantanamo, but at least he made me fucking feel something. Jesus Christ. I get why MAGA people could get behind Trump, even though that's like a whole other deal, but really making it feel
Obama
like,
was cool.
Yes, like, hell yeah. And like,
I mean, it's a leadership position. It's an executive position. You have to look up to this person.
Politician, yeah. He's like hope and change and all of this. It's like, man, feeling like things are possible and there are ideas and not just this like barely tripping over this bar that was set by like an outward xenophobe misogynist who peeks on teenage girls in his beauty contest. You know, like it's like this is barely, man. We're really this is a rough go to get behind. I just don't know how anyone could be like fangirling over anyone and just saying like these are things we have to have these conversations because these people have to be held accountable because we're not settling for good enough. Like that is not good enough, guys. Like we have to, if we keep asking these questions, leaders can actually maybe be held accountable. Like instead of you guys being on Joe Biden's side when a journalist says, what do you think about people thinking that you're too old? Why come to bat for Joe Biden? Make him fucking answer these questions and like be held accountable, and maybe he could like realize public opinion is not really on his side. Maybe I thought that he would be
different, or
like maybe like understand that maybe he's not like the best choice, and maybe could have some fucking humility, or at least then like really get some backlash from these people instead of support for him being just wrong and handling it wrong.
They're doing so much wrong, and it's like, well. I'm no historian, but I'll always bring up the 1968 election, and it's like, well, it's too late. It's too late for him to drop out and have the Democrats set up someone new. It's like LBJ didn't get out of the race until March of 1968, okay? It can be done. The Democrats really fucked up in how they went about their nomination that year, and still, and they gave Nixon a lot of kind of what he was wanted, and their waffling about really cost him a lot, and they still barely lost. 1960 is not like 1972, and it's just there's a lot of similarities. And LBJ in 1968, I would still take over current Joe Biden, and LBJ was murdering thousands of people in Vietnam. But it's like
Joe Biden's just doing it in Gaza.
The bar, like you said, is so low. The bar is like that, and
like,
that's also the sound
Yeah.
going around inside Joe Biden's cranium all hours of the day when he shuffles around. Like, I mean, the way that he was talking in front of people at a microphone at a podium. When I saw it last week, I said, I just saw my 93-year-old grandmother yesterday, and this reminds me of speaking to her. Seriously. And she's pretty sharp for a 93-year-old.
That's always my thing about Joe Biden. I'm like, if he was 45 years old talking like this, people would think legitimately something is wrong. Like something would be wrong. He's
else.
Great for his age. He's great for his age. And don't give me.
They think he was totally redacted. So
it is fucking ageist to say that his mental abilities would not be affected. That's denying what
Yeah.
actually happens to human beings as we age. He is now past
that's
the
what
point
Jon
of the
Stewart was
average
saying.
lifespan for
Yes.
like a human being. He could die fucking any day statistically. It's like really way within the realm of possibility.
And the
the
same
average
with
age is
Trump.
a couple years ago.
The same with
Like,
Trump too, and that's the thing.
is-
Like the fact that what sucks is him also talking about obvious problems with Joe Biden made all of these liberal, whiny morons call it just toxic both sidesism and all this stuff. And it's like, but the thing is, we're all on the same page with Trump. And not only like when he moved on to talking about Trump in that episode, and he'd already gone through Biden with all these people saying, well, he's actually really sharp. Oh, I was in the room. He's really on top of things. His mental abilities are great.
Kamala
and he's like,
talking
and he
about
says,
it?
how
She's like-
about show us? Yeah. But, and then
it
immediately
didn't
when he's
happen.
talking about Trump, though, Carrie Lake says, Trump is not an old man. And he just cut her off. He's like, he's an old man. They're both over the average life expectancy for men in the United States. And it's like, they're fucking old. I'm sorry, you want to call it ageist or whatever, but if you
I feel like-
if you wouldn't put your kids in a car and have that guy drive them to school, why do you want them in charge of America's military? Fuck that. No
I just feel
way.
like it's
And
like
if that's
one of-
ageist, then whatever, then okay, fine. Whatever 81-year-olds get upset about it, come see me. All right? What are you going to do,
Come at me,
old man?
Yeah. I just feel like, who the fuck are you even speaking to? Most Americans are 64 and younger. Most Americans are, and
Yeah.
like Joe Biden and Donald Trump, not just because of his age, but because of his privilege, they both have no fucking idea what the world is even like,
Yeah.
anything like that. Wouldn't it be so nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we had like a president like in his 40s, like his late 40s or something, like that would actually kind of have an idea, maybe had like kids that are like not grown, not be like grandparents or great grandparents or whatever,
Yeah.
but like, you have no fucking idea what's going on in these kids' lives. Your kids
Well-
are already grown and stuff.
Okay, well then let's look. I mean, so what do they got? Now here's an actual question.
Gavin Newsom.
If it came, I know, but I was like, but what if it came down to, well, Joe Biden again or Pete Buttigieg? Oof. See, I don't know, because libs
I don't
love
wanna
that
lose an
fucking
election. Yeah.
rat-faced weirdo. You know, that
He is
rat-faced
gay.
government
No.
asset psycho.
He just seems like
He's
whatever.
all right.
I mean,
for a lib,
I
he's
would
whatever.
prefer
He's whatever. He's the
Gavin-
status quo. Gavin Newsom for
Exactly.
sure. Like,
but even then, I'm like, man, why can't there be like, why aren't? It's because they're Democrats. It's because the Democratic Party stifles any like progress or anything like that because they want to make money, and you know that you can't make money without like big old campaign contributions from fucking rich people. So you can't start talking about like progressive politics.
But it's not
They're
true.
stuck.
that's why Bernie got shut
why-
out so bad, because he proved twice that you could run a legitimate campaign
In
as
Vermont.
no, I mean, he's an
Oh.
independent, but then he changed the game for grassroots money.
I'm saying
fundraising for presidential campaigns, like even
Yeah, but
and
that
then
doesn't make
goes
the
to
DNC
2020. That was a talking point where it's like people like Elizabeth Warren would try to make that a boast, like, or that we won't accept super PAC money and stuff like that. Like, it can be done.
And they both
So-
fucking lost.
but they won't.
And they both fucking lost because of the DNC. That's
Yes,
what I'm
that's
saying.
what I'm saying.
Because
Well, yeah,
that's
yeah.
the undercurrent of it. They can't
No, that's what I'm saying to
they
you.
can't yeah, they can't maintain like the kind of profits that they're making or whatever these kind of fucking deals that they're making with these rich people if they let people like Bernie or even Elizabeth Warren, a capitalist, like have more of a platform because it would be convincing and people would start
Yeah.
questioning it. And the
You're talking about
Democrats
where
are
all
the
that
ones
money
that
goes. That's why it's proven in these presidential elections.
Capitalism is bad.
And there we go.
It really is. Get down to our roots here. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know,
what?
if it's anyone else, I say we go with Kamala's husband, just so I could use the sound drop all the time.
Let's go to Doug. Doug is the guy you go to around here.
We need a Doug in office.
Doug
all right?
for president?
Doug Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not happening.
No offense, Doug, but
no. Hey, you need those short last names like Biden, Harris. You need bumper sticker names. You know what happened to Al Gore? Why it was even close at all? Lieberman. It's not happening, dude.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Never gonna
Sanders. Even AOC, she can go by AOC, you know?
That's true.
She can be on a presidential bumper sticker at some point. Newsom, 6 letters. 6 letters. There's so many 6-letter words that you can put on a bumper sticker.
We know it, folks. We know all of those 6-letter words.
We know all the 6-letter words. They're worse than all the 4-letter words.
I feel like Newsom would be fun because there'd be like there's like new in his name also, and like there's like a lot of wordplay opportunities, and he just like looks like a guy that could be president or whatever in like
hot.
a place.
He's good looking.
He's like
Sorry.
he's the kind of age that I would want. Like if we had that kind of going on, it just seems like it would reflect America a lot better than someone who's like
can't we
literally
finally have
at the age of death?
Can't we finally have a presidential candidate from California that's not a Republican? That's not one of the worst presidents of the past 100 years? One of the Reagan and Nixon? Fuck that. What are you doing, California? Come on. Yeah, and they'd be like, well, you need someone from California. They got to represent anyone. No, they don't. Fuck this.
You know what? You know what Humby says? There are more Republicans in California than anywhere else.
Sure.
Than any other state, because there's just so many fucking people that there's a lot of Republicans there.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of Democrats because there's like 33 million people that live there. There's as many people as in Canada.
insane.
You think there's not any Republicans or like conservatives in Canada? Yeah, that's
There's
like
a lot.
California. Yeah, exactly.
But either way, if you're in Washington, do what you want. You know
what?
I don't care.
Exactly.
Exactly. All I ask, and we can have discussions about it, is that you vote in general. I don't give a shit what you do for president, but you know, there's you can get to know your candidate, see who's going to be on the school board. Or, I mean, when it comes down to it, the governor can make a big difference, but I don't know what kind of difference your vote's going to make. But it can. I mean, we've had Republican governors and stuff. All that stuff's important, but whatever. That we could talk about
local.
When it's not February. But for whatever reason, we get to talk about the presidency. We get the fact that in America, people are actually saying, well, it's too late for Biden to be replaced by a different candidate. It's fucking February. Like, this is getting worse and worse and worse. And I know tons of people complain about it already, but come on. Like, it should be illegal, like, for presidential campaigns to be this long. It's too much. It's stupid.
2 weeks. Yeah. You know.
Seriously.
2 weeks.
It should be
and just
4
have
months.
grueling debates, like literally giving me TED Talk presentations with like actual facts and graphs, and like having to like do that for 2 weeks straight. You guys all stay. It's like a game show sort of situation, you know, where the whole country is tuned in, and that's all you get.
You're already weeding out
around.
A bunch of people that can't, that literally just can't financially run a campaign for that long without taking tons of money, or bothering us constantly for our $10 donations. Like, it goes too long. You're already filtering out too many people by having it take that long, let alone generally speaking.
General electionly.
I know R.M. Brown.
No, but
you gonna say it out of context?
Like, so often, because not always, of course, but because of term limits, but so often, one of these people in this 12-month-long campaign is the fucking president. They shouldn't be campaigning. They shouldn't have to do this. Like, fuck. It's so stupid. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. But
it just all feels, and then it's like, maybe if something was getting done, but then they just get into power, and it's like, time is a flat circle. It just all starts all over again, and is back to election season again, and nothing is happening. Nothing good, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, not enough, for sure.
Well, here was
Not
an
enough
idea
good.
I saw a couple weeks ago on Twitter from a mutual. Shout out to Southpaw Leftist. I mean, Kamala aside, we're talking about how old Biden is. Says, hear me out. The DNC wants progressives to vote for Biden, right? Supposedly, even though they just hate us more than they hate Republicans. But anyway, the DNC wants progressives to vote for Biden, right? Make a progressive his VP and watch how quickly we all celebrate how old he is. That's
Yeah.
it's almost like that's a Dave
Appease
Chappelle
us.
joke from way back in the day before Obama was president, and he was talking about a black president and how they would get, be assassinated, and making jokes about it back when Chappelle was good. But he's like, but here, this is what I would do. I'd be the black president. My VP be Mexican. And he's like, no, you're not coming after me, or Carlos is going to open all the borders. Or he's like, none of those right-wing weirdos are going to want that.
That's really funny.
But,
yeah, but I also feel like
no, sorry,
the
I
DNC
talked over you too much.
Never, what are they doing? Like, we talk about Richard Nixon, creating the Environmental Protection Agency because of because he was had some political acumen or whatever, or knew that it mattered to do something that people wanted.
Every
for whatever
single
reasons,
thing like that was done with politics in mind, never with bettering the country.
So it's what does Joe Biden do to appease anyone politically at all?
It's at
all.
You know what? You're right. Yeah. And it's Richard Nixon, it was all just for his own political gain. It's and to do that, if you're not going to be committing felonies, for your own political gain, you can do that through policy by giving people something that they're going to use or want. It's Biden, buy our votes, dude. Give people money.
Easy.
Legalize
I said
weed.
all I want. Give me some spirit. All I want is some fucking hope at this point. Don't make me feel like I want to kill myself every single day because you guys suck so bad. Do a tiny thing. At least talk about doing
care.
Do at least a little bit. At least fucking open up the fucking conversation to it and be brave enough, I guess is the word, to talk about some of these things. Give me anything that I can latch onto. And man, I am so ready. And they give nothing. They give combative bullshit. It's Joe, own that you're old.
I would love
Don't say I'm the sharpest that I've ever been. Be I know I'm an old man, I'm up here, but I'm doing what's great for the country.
Yeah,
but
this is what I'm doing for you anyway. Instead of, what the hell are you talking about, Jack?
I'm not old. You're, but it's
I'm doing all right. Jesus, man. It's you know what? When it comes down to it, you roll into October, I would love it if you had done so well that you turned me into a screaming vote blue liberal. That means you'd be doing great. I'd be no, fuck this, and yelling at leftists and saying, still do it.
Do
he
your
did
part.
something good. It's not what we want, but look at what's been done. Incremental change is better than none.
Come on.
But we don't even have that. We're going backwards. We're supplying Israel. The job market is crazy. Inflation, housing. We didn't do anything about healthcare in 4 years. I just signed up for an insurance plan last week that I'm going to have to start paying for, because I went the entire last year without insurance because it's insane. I paid for my medication out of pocket for a year, and luckily didn't have to go to the emergency room, and got in at the last second with some dental work when I don't even think I was covered, honestly. I don't know. I don't even know how it works. It's stupid. But so it's and so we sit here, and every week people like us will complain about Biden complain about what a bad job, at least campaign-wise, let alone if we want to talk about policy and stuff like that, or Palestine, or personal health care. I'm doing P's here. If we're trying to mind our P's and QAnons. But the thing is, don't tell me that I want Trump to win. Like, this comes up from these liberals, like, I've been on the anti-Trump thing since the birther movement, okay? He's a fucking idiot. I hate him so much. What he does is bad for our country. You could say what Biden does is bad. Scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. I mean, there could be just a slow route to fascism through this type of Democratic Party right-wing centrism, that we've got. But still, Trump, no. Like, go literally.
I feel like
if something like that happens, go commit violent acts, and I will pitch in on your bail, whatever it takes. I don't care. But so still, the fact that we're even talking about this is what Stephen Colbert had said, and this was going around yesterday, and blue checks are saying Stephen Colbert is spot on, 100% correct. All these people with the fucking Ukraine flag in their bio, in their name or whatever. But one of my mutuals, she's great, had said, "Hey, I hate to say this, guys, because you have to, if you're in leftist spaces and stuff, you have to say that before ever saying someone like Stephen Colbert is right." Yeah, exactly. It's like, but this is true. Like, this blows my mind. And here, let's see, what is he saying here?
I know how numb we've become, but it's not normal. No other candidate for the presidency has ever had to pause his campaign to defend himself in multiple courts. And I would like to point out that in all 7 of his cases, no one doubts that he did these things.
Yeah.
We're just sitting around patiently waiting to find out if the wheels of justice will grind fast enough for there to be any consequences. And the media is covering it like it's any other political story, like it's all horse race. I know.
Yes. That's the thing. It's like, it's weird how we're taking this for granted. It's weird how many people you might just know that like this fucking Donald Trump guy. It's insanity. Like, and this is, sorry, but this is where we are. Like, there's so many things going wrong right now that this is where we are. That this guy who, you could say this before he won the first time. Like, it's crazy that this is even considered an actual candidate. And then after his horrific presidency that ended with an attempted overturning of the electoral count with an so-called insurrection at the Capitol building, is running again. And we're talking about this literal criminal. What really sticks out is Colbert is like, just the fact that he's saying, and we all know, like, that he did this shit. Even people that support him know that he does this stuff. Yeah. He's just a career sleazy businessman, New York criminal asshole. And he's the other major candidate and the other person that right now looks like he could win because of how badly not Biden is doing in office. I don't care if you tell me his accomplishments make you happy because you're some centrist lib or, and you have no pressing issues in your fucking life, and you have health care and you have a house and all this crap. Doesn't matter if it's not getting through to enough people, if he's doing enough bad or not doing enough good, that Donald Trump right now is leading him in Michigan. This is a problem. Like, no one wants this guy. None of us do. There isn't a single leftist or progressive or liberal, of course, but that wants this guy. Like, but he can win. And don't blame us for not holding our nose Blame the fucking guy in charge of this campaign. Blame the guy who is being the president right now.
Yeah,
He's the one who it will lose if he loses. Don't blame. It's just the same bullshit of people wanting to blame Bernie bros for Hillary losing. Why can't you blame Hillary for Hillary losing? She lost. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's like, where does the buck stop? It's
exactly.
like, doesn't the buck stop there, like with them? Like, am I the one? And it's just so incredibly insulting.
Should be
it's like
exactly what they're going by because they're going for a leadership position.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I take the responsibility of this. Like, coaches are out here saying, you know, players could have played better, but all the great ones would say, yeah, like I need to figure out what I could do to like bring some wins here. I know that I'm the one I'm the leader here. You know, I have to do things differently. And yeah, to put it on us as voters, it's so insulting too. It's like, oh, because I'm just like some fucking redacted, right? That I'm too stupid to think for myself. Like, you guys have it all figured out. Like, and you think it's just really insulting to think that they would know better about like all Joe Biden's accomplishments and stuff, and not like take into consideration like what these people's like our criticisms are, like that we're just coming out of somewhere to be stupid or like infantile or something, or just like wanting to complain about like that we just don't get it or whatever, like all the good he's done. And it's like, so if I'm not getting it and a lot of people are not getting it, you know, if maybe all these students are failing the class, maybe isn't the teacher just a bad teacher?
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's a good analogy too. Yeah, because that's what I've been saying, where it's like, well, yeah, no matter what, if he has all these accomplishments, it's the same conversation of as if he's so sharp, show it. If he has all these accomplishments, how come he only has a 38% approval rating? How come he's losing in polls
why aren't our lives
in swing
so
states?
much better?
Do you think that Joe
Biden a great fucking job
is gonna take Georgia and Arizona again, let alone Michigan, where with the highest Arab population in the United States?
And exactly, it's like so. And if we have these grievances, it's like, oh, who's gonna lose out because of what his response to Israel? And it's like, yeah. Yes.
So
he should lose out
different.
because we don't approve of that bullshit. So he needs to change. He is not the dictator. He is a public servant supposed to represent how we fucking feel, and he doesn't. That's why we're not happy. He's doing things we don't like. That doesn't mean we need to change. It means he needs to change.
Yeah.
He needs to do what we want. That's what he's fucking there for. That's why we vote him in. Like, he just can't. It's like these guys, these dumb motherfuckers that are like a benevolent dictatorship is the best way to rule. That's the kind of people who would support Joe Biden.
Sure.
Idiots.
Yeah, and
that just give away all their power.
Dictator is senile. He's not even good at being a dictator, if that's the case. And if you're talking about being the commander-in-chief as like the main dictatorial thing that you have as a president, being the commander-in-chief of the America's military, he's fucking that up, man. Like, we don't even talk about, like, Ukraine has been going on for 2 years. That shit is bad. That shit is not going well. And we're sending money over there. Israel's committing a fucking genocide, and he's only supposedly saying behind closed doors that he doesn't like it.
And I don't give a fuck about behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I don't care about behind closed doors. That's like the worst thing you could possibly say when you're talking about American politics. The thing everyone universally hates the most is the bullshit that goes on behind closed doors. We want more transparency. You're public motherfucking servants. So come out and say it with your chest, Joe Biden. It makes me respect you so much less that you just say it behind closed doors like a fucking coward.
Like a wuss.
You're a senile old coward. God, retire. Go have fun with your family. Get out of here. Get out of our lives, please. You shouldn't have even ran in the first motherfucking place.
Go kill yourself. Go sit in the middle of the road and let a car run over you. I'll cut your throat. I'll come to your house and kill your children.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just so many. That's the thing, is I hate I hate it for multiple reasons, being called naive about these things or too pie in the sky or politically illiterate, because number one, I'm like, well, I mean, that can get to me because I admit I am not the smartest guy. I don't have a poli-sci degree, but I'm not an idiot, you know. But also, so often it's so profoundly obvious that the person telling me this, when we're talking about the Democrats, is the one falling for the propaganda, is the one letting their bias and their privilege, whatever station of life they're in, to lead their just current political acumen right now. Like, I really don't think you understand what's going on. It's like back to the primaries thing where it's just like, what the fuck? Well, of course Biden takes it. The only other people are like Marianne Williamson and what's that, Dean Phillips or whatever. Of course. Like, you idiot, you buffoon, you moron. You know,
Wingus, dingus,
and
listen
for
up.
them to just not, it's like for them to not question, like,
when it comes
about
down
the
to
DNC,
it, you know
the
what? You know
DNC,
what's happening?
People
about,
have
like,
to flush their toilet 15 times.
Just to get Joe Biden. Oh man,
The smell out. Yeah.
I wish I was better at improv. What did I send you the other day?
You just gotta practice.
Yeah, exactly. Nick Mullen, something where it's just like, man, just making up stories would be great.
Thanks a lot, Puritans.
But yeah. Well, to finish the show, we're just going to repeat
The N-word
over and over again as a sign
In
of
5,
protest.
6, 7, 8.
Because it's Black History Month. No.
Yeah, protest over Black History Month.
Oh, boy. Let's get back to this thing here. Oh, yeah, so that Biden idea.
All I'm saying to these Democrats that like Joe Biden is you can want more.
Yeah.
You can want more for your life. You can want more for our country. It does not have to be this way. You
And
can
the only
want
way-
better. We can do better.
and saying that and calling people babies for saying that they won't vote for Joe Biden. It's like, well, and that's just a vote for Trump. It's like the only way, you know, as a section of the electorate to get that
Electorate
change
section.
from the candidate is to say that you're not going to vote for them. What else can you do? You idiot, you moron, you buffoon. Like, what are you talking about? That's not infantile. That's the system that we're
That's like
using.
where our power comes from, is that we have a voice with our vote. Remember?
God.
That's like what this is all about.
It's not like, it's like, yeah, we're going to get a lot of change done when we're just admitting up front.
We do a little trolling. It's called we do a little
We're just trolling. No, it's because we want things to be different. You idiot, you moron, you buffoon.
Please,
Like,
yes.
come on.
And like, is it infantile to want better? Isn't that like the whole point? Isn't that the reason
Yes.
you're not a right winger?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's just, it's sad too. Just the, I mean, you have to leave Palestine out of this whole thing, and that's the problem. It's for the people that aren't propagandized about this. I would say people who believe in humanity and support the right of Palestinians to be a free
Not
people.
bombed. Yeah, constantly, and like refugee camps.
It's like
bombed
that's
and
like a
stuff like
no-go, and it's like the people who, I mean, because there's so many just either Zionist libs or people on that side, because that's the way that this project has worked for a long time, you know, in terms of keeping people on Israel's side. But as if it should matter. We're in America. Jesus Christ. But
Jesus
but it's
Christ.
like that
Don't
should,
even bring him into this.
yeah. It's like if there was just slightly less propagandized, if you didn't literally think every Palestinian person, including the majority of them there that are children, you know, pretty much at this point, was a terrorist,
children, yeah.
then you would be able to budge on this thing that people on the other side cannot budge on. Like, because if you see it from the side of supporting Palestine, it's something that you can't just compromise on that. If you're on the side of Palestinian humanity, like, you know that I don't care if you don't want to call it a genocide, definitionally an ethnic cleansing is happening, and no matter what, tens of thousands of civilians, men, women, and children, have been brutally killed over the course of 4 months. You know, it's like, that's not something you can change, or like your mind on. But if you're on the other side, where it's just, where the only thing supporting, like, your view on this are things like, oh, I don't want to be called anti-Semitic on the internet, you know, or just, hey, Israel is important and it's an ally. Like, that's not a rock solid foundation. That's not something that speaks to your values as a person, like it does
international
if you're like a Palestinian American or anyone who cares about this in the slightest. You know, it just drives me crazy. But let's just say, okay, record scratch. My employee has begun setting his or her phone on personal mode during his or her lunch break. I do not find this acceptable. Should I fire them? Just good old chorus stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the
if it's paid or not. If it's not paid, you can do whatever the fuck you want on your lunch break.
So I just love the responses in there. Actually, you know, when things that's the thing. People are just subjected to so much pro-America, pro-capitalist, pro-ruling class propaganda. That's just the way that capitalism can be a self-perpetuating system that entrenches itself into every facet of life, no matter what. It's the reason we live in an economy and not a society, like you said.
It's the best.
That just there's just simple ways of explaining the reality of things, or simple stories like that. Just hearing an employer say that suddenly makes you realize that at their heart, tons of random people are pretty pro-worker and anti-capitalist. And they're pretty far on the left. They just don't know.
If you keep that kind of verbiage away from it, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm always saying. Is like, people have so much in common. People have so much more in common than they don't. You know, the things that really matter, and like the justice and like the morality of a lot of things, we do agree on. We agree on a lot. Americans especially are.
Well, we're going to finish up, but I just scrolled through and saw this New York Post opinion piece with a picture of Javier Milei. That's his name, right? Milei? Is it Argentina?
Oh, the Argentinian president. That's like
Argentina.
Yeah.
And the headline is, the mainstream media don't treat conservatives and libertarians fairly, and Americans have noticed. Yeah, fucking right. That guy has completely trashed the country in less than a year. He sucks so bad. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and his sideburns.
Well, yeah, man, he looks like a fucking nightmare. I thought that my hair was crazy getting on the show today, but
international crimes against fashion. Yeah.
Yeah, fascist, more like unfashionable.
Almost.
Texas has the constitutional right to defend itself from invasion. See, shit like this is going on in America, okay? The right wing is not fucking around, okay? It's bad out there. It can be pretty bad. That's why we talk about exercise, just in case. You got to run from the cops 2 years from now. But I'll cut it short. The last one went over by 1 second, so I love you.
All right. I love you too.
I love all the listeners. Oh, thanks, Wendy. And I was going to bring up what Wendy had told me about 2 episodes ago. I'll start off with that next week. Okay. Shout out Aaron
Okay.
Brown.
Shout out to Aaron Brown. Shout out to Zach, Ryan, Pepka. It's like the Humpy. I love you.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.